Tommy, heel. Good. Oh, heel. Good. Good. Sit. Good boy. All right, well, hello. Here we are back again at Animal Training Development Center. Today we have Tommy Boy with us. And if you've never got a chance to see the movie Tommy Boy, I highly recommend it. He is the personification of Tommy in the movie. Big, outgoing kind of a dog, as Chris Farley was in the movie, and big, outgoing personality to match, which our Tommy Boy today has as well. So he's the typical Labrador Retriever you think about. They're big, they're strong, they're happy, they're friendly. They don't know a stranger, but they have all this energy and all this passion that we need to harness and direct in order to really enjoy them to their fullest. So we've been working really hard at trying to rein him in a little bit and just trying to keep his focus on us. He's a young dog, but a strong dog. So I think last I heard he's 99 pounds and just about a year old. So good size dog and just full of life, as you can see. And what we're going to do is just take you through the paces that we've done with him so far. So he's now at the halfway point in our daycare training program. So he's doing the alpha program, and this is day 5. So we've worked on the heel. So with the heel command, of course, he should stay in step with us every step of the way. And that is his right paw should fall in line with my left leg, pretty much, is what we're looking for ultimately. If I turn and go the opposite direction, he should turn. And you can see we got kind of a clover leaf pattern here with the cones today. And this is one of my favorite patterns to practice a good heel command, because it allows for us to, practice all kinds of different directions. And we're looking for him to maintain that heel position every step of the way. So I noticed this last left turn, he crowded me a little bit. And there again, no heel. Anytime you have to tug, we're using the word NO with the tug. And we're directing that tug in such a way that's going to help position him in the proper spot. So if he's a little ahead, we're tugging backwards. If he's a little behind, we're tugging forwards. If he's a little to the right, we're tugging to the left. If he's a little left, we're tugging to the right. You kind of get it. So that's one of the things we worked a lot with, and he's doing really well. As always, we say distractions are to dog training as weights are to weightlifting. We're building him through higher and higher levels of distractions. We've worked on the down. Good. And no, down. And probably for an outgoing dog with a lot of energy, this is maybe the hardest command of all for them to do. They just, feel like this is the last thing on their mind when they're full of passion, full of energy, is to, lay down and think about a nap. But sometimes, we just need our dogs to wait and patiently wait. So leading with my outside foot, he should stay put. We've been practicing that. If he goes to get up, no, down. In that case, I was just able to do it with a verbal correction. If I had to back it up, right there, physical, no, down. There's the physical example of what you do if need be, no. So I'm just stepping down at that leash, then repeating down command. No, down. And as I said, for Tommy Boy, this is probably the hardest one. He just doesn't want to lay around. He's got so many things, no. Down. So many things he wants to do, so many places he wants to see, and so many people and other dogs he wants to play with that, this whole idea of laying down just seems silly to him. But at the end of the day, it's good for him to learn, no, down. And we just kind of keep plodding away with it, because I feel like, the commands that the dogs are already really good at, he's got an exceptional come command, for example. He's really good at that. But if that's all we do is to do the ones that he likes and the ones he's good at, then, we're not going to have a nice rounded dog. And so sometimes you got to go against the grain. And in this case, just kind of fight him on this down a little bit. I would recommend for you specifically doing your homework with him, we recommend 20 minutes a day. But I would say for right now, I do a good every day, 5 of those minutes. So, 25% of the time of your homework, we're going to be working on this down command for him, just to get it settled in his mind that sometimes you just have to hurry up and wait, just like the military. Heel. The heel command's a lot better for him. He gets moving. He gets to, move around, get some of that energy going, but it's still very strict. And I like that he's doing so well with this today. And I maintain that position no matter which direction I go or how fast or how slow. That's a boy. How slow I go. Good. Nice, Tommy boy. That's a good boy. You got to be kind of quiet with your praise with a big outgoing dog like this. Sit. They're already so excited to be alive that you dare not get too excited to praise them because they just can't maintain their composure in the event they get too much enthusiasm back. So the good news is it doesn't take a lot to make them happy. So just a whisper of, good boy, Tommy boy. You can see he barely can handle that. Heel. So I find that with big outgoing dogs, they typically require, at least in the beginning, some pretty big outgoing corrections. So when we were first starting with him, boy, I was getting a workout too, just trying to get him reined in. And we're using the prong collar and we're using the remote collar, and I'm going to keep those tools handy. But as you can see, I'm not having to do a whole lot with him in terms of a lot of power or a lot of correction. At least not this level of distraction. So this is how you want to start getting your dog warmed up and nice and tuned in. I really enjoy indoor work for that because as soon as we step outside, good boy. I know. Down. There you go. As soon as you step outside with any dog, the distraction level just climbs pretty dramatically because the sight, sound, smells in the air, and a lot of that is unpredictable and things that you can't control. And so we always try to start to stair step our way up our training. We call it the distraction ladder. So distractions are to dog training as weights are to weightlifting, and obviously a stronger person can lift more weight, and a better trained dog can work through higher levels of distraction. So it doesn't take a lot to understand how to do a lift. So if you're learning how to bench press, it's really not super complicated. Neither is the down position for a dog. They do it all the time on their own without being told. It's a part of nature to lay down. It's just that when they're told, and that now that they have been in that position, they have to continue to hold that position as distractions begin to occur. This is when things get more challenging, but we want to get them a good workout, just like lifting weights, so that as time goes on, they get higher and higher through their distraction levels. Okay is his release word. Good boy. Means he can do whatever he wants, but keep in mind, every dog that we train starts with what we call the unspoken command. And I know we've already talked about this with Tommy's owner, and so he's very well aware of this idea that as I walk around, Tommy should never get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason. Now, this isn't the same as the heel command, which is very strict. This is really very loose in terms of our expectations. My only expectation as I go around like this is that he doesn't get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason. And you can kind of see that he's doing a pretty good job of keeping an eye on me enough to where he's keeping the slack in the leash. It's nowhere near as tight as he was when we were doing that heel command, but it's not designed to be. This is our everyday, let's just go enjoy ourselves on a walk thing without pulling me around. When we do the heel command, then that's a lot more strict, a lot more focused, a lot more precise. But that's how we get through dangerous areas like crossing busy streets, or even in our own neighborhood as walking the sidewalk and maybe somebody on bicycles coming the other way. We did some of that today together at the YMCA that you'll get to see some footage pieced in from, and he did a really good job out there. So stair step your way up your distraction ladders, but continue to press forward. So one of our favorites is to take a dog's favorite thing. In this case, we know that he loves tennis balls, and that's a great thing. I want him to keep loving tennis balls. This is a great toy for him, a lot of fun. You can teach a lot of good things with it as far as getting him to come when called and other stuff, but I also want to utilize this in terms of testing his obedience. So, it's not wrong if I say, okay, for a dog to get the tennis ball. Good boy. Good boy. That's it, Tommy. Nice. Drop it. And watch, if he doesn't, all I'm going to do is put some stagnant pressure, and right there he dropped it. Good boy. Good boy. Now we're going to work the sit command. So, Tommy, let's go over here where you can see. Sit. Now when I bounce it, he should keep sitting. What I'm trying to do with the leash then is make sure if I do have to tug it to stop him from breaking the sit, I want that leash to kind of get tight between my waist and my shoulder area here so that I have some strength and leverage to get him back in position. No sit. Good. Good boy, Tommy. Good boy. Okay, good. Good boy. That's a good dog. Yes. So you can see he's still having fun with it, but he's learning that, when he's in the sit command, he has to hold the sit. He can't get the ball. When he gets the release word with the ball, then he can, have permission basically to go ahead and get it. And that's how I'd like you to start to utilize some of his toys now, because that's going to really allow for us to train through a high level of distraction, but also through kind of a high level of motivation, because he's starting to get this idea, just like us, working for money is kind of cool, because when you get that money, you can do some cool things with it. And working for that ball is kind of cool, because when all's said and done and he gets the release word, he gets to have the ball too. So that's one way to utilize the ball, is having him hold the sit command or the down command through it. Another way, heel. Good. Sit is to go ahead and let the ball roll, and he needs to hold. This is maybe even a little harder than before. No, sit. And there again, I had my leash already measured out so that I knew that when he started to break, I was going to quickly be able to get him back in position. I'm going to do the same thing with this ball. No, sit. Good. And if I had a third or fourth ball, I'd probably do that too. But I've only got 2 with me for this demonstration, because what I want to show you next is this idea that when we give the heel command, Tommy, heel, he needs to not try to get these balls during the heel command. So remember, heel is a position relationship to your body. And when your dog is in the heel position, good boy, no heel. He's not allowed to sniff the ground, yet alone take a ball, no heel, or a treat. If you try some treats with this too, the idea is, if I'm just on a regular walk, then yeah, they can grab stuff off the ground if they want, but not in the heel position. So the heel command is the one to use when you're going good through areas that you don't want your dog to grab stuff off the ground, like maybe areas where ducks and geese frequent. Okay, get it. Okay, good boy. He wasn't sure that he could. So as he gets better and better at this, he'll know. When you say that word okay, even by accident, he'll be diving for his toys. He'll know that this is the rule. And I love that, because as I said, it's not only a high level of distraction that a dog has to, focus and work through. It's kind of like a lot of weight to lift, but it's making him strong. And you can see that he's starting to get this idea, and he's not losing any passion for the ball. He's going to love that ball, and at the same time now, you're going to have the confidence that, God forbid, you're throwing a ball out in the yard for him, and maybe one rolls into the street, and if a dog thinks he can chase every ball that goes, maybe he goes too far and gets hit by a car or something awful. But I like a dog that loves the ball, but if I have to call him off the ball, I know that when I do, that dog's going to stop on a dime and turn and come back to me, and maybe in doing so, save their life or something. So this is the idea of obedience. It's not just tricks that we do to show off to our friends, but it's techniques that we utilize to build our relationship of trust and respect with every dog, that allows for them to enjoy their life, and allows for us to enjoy our life, and most importantly, it allows us to enjoy life together. So we're going to piece together this with some of our walk that we did at the YMCA today, and probably toss in a little bit of playtime that he gets to have in recess with other dogs for you to enjoy. But he's a great dog. He's a wonderful dog. I love him. He's big, outgoing personality, big outgoing body, and just a fun dog to have around. So keep practicing, and as always, if you have any questions, let us know. And meanwhile, happy training. Okay, Tommy boy. Good dog. Good boy. All right, so we're starting the morning this morning with our Tommy boy here. Right, Tommy boy? And Tommy is, as you can tell, a outgoing style Labrador. Your very typical male young Labrador. And this is day 5 of his daycare training program with us. We are going to shoot some video of him being Tommy here in the beginning, and then shoot some video of Tommy improving him near the end of the day. You can tell already that he's intact and that he is marking. So we allow for, you know, legitimate needs. Of course, a dog has a need to urinate, but they don't. And here we go again. There, we don't have a need to mark, right? So, or shouldn't. Marking becomes an obsession for some dogs, and you know, a lot of times I don't mind in my backyard if it's going to be, you know, the bush or a tree, but if you're not careful, you end up with, like we have with our little Pomeranian Juno. He's not content with that. He wants to own the grill and the grill cover, and you know, then the seats in the backyard if you're not careful. And he's not even intact. So what we have is well, this is a legitimate need. We'll take care of that, and we'll be back with you soon. Let me get that cleaned up. Tommy. Come on, Tommy. Right there, I'm just bumping him with the vibration button and got him moving. We're just trying to keep him connected. So the problem with marking is that it's never enough for a dog. It's always the next spot and the next spot and the next spot. And here we're in some prime marking spots where all the dogs in the park like to come and, you know who's who and what's what. And the problem is just like any social gathering, it can become a clique, so to speak. At least that's what we called it when I was in school. So, you know, a clique is a group of athletes, or the drama team had their clique and the cheerleaders had their cliques, and, you know, it's a social type of thing. Well, marking becomes that social type of thing for some dogs. And, you know, there I would catch him, except I have a poo bag in my hand. He's right there having a chat with his fellow club members. Come on, Tommy boy, now I'm ready. Gotcha. That's another prime one. I didn't even wait for him to do it. You know why? Like my mom used to say, don't even think about it, Michael. And I know he was thinking about it. You guys know he was thinking about it. So we catch him a few times with that, and what we're going to do is we're going to, you know, trade him a better deal. So his clique, in our minds, isn't the best clique. You know, sometimes you just want your kid hanging out with those kinds of kids, you know. Here we're going to stop the pulling. There we go. But I'm trading him for part of this clique that he's enjoying even now. Going to stop the marking here. I don't mind the sniffing. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we knew that was coming. So I'm asking him to reconsider his friends. Hello, good boy. What would it be like if Tommy boy could come out here and enjoy those geese that just flew overhead without running to the end of the line and knocking me off my feet? Ready for the marking. Gotcha. And so we get him off of this clique and into the clique of, hey, let's take a walk together. Let's enjoy some sights together. Let's have some companionship and some fun. And later we're going to convert it into chasing a ball and all of this kind of cool stuff. But the first thing we have to do is get him to stop with this clique that he is currently embracing. There you go, Tommy. What do you say, buddy? Good boy. Yeah. Got him for the pulling that time. And the level that he's on is relatively high, but he's a big, strong, intact male, and he's recovering quickly from these corrections. And that's how we have to look at it. It's, you know, I prefer not to have a dog vocalize with a surprise and correction, but you know, sometimes in life that stove isn't hot until you touch it a couple of times, even though your mom told you not to touch it 1,000 times. So this is making the stove hot in the dog's mind, and I'm passionately envisioning him in his full glory strong and healthy and athletic, but also connected with his owner, focused like he's starting to do with me, aware, of his surroundings, and then start to really just taking it in and enjoy. We've got miles out here of playground. He's got friends that he doesn't even know yet that are on bicycles over here now and walking their dogs somewhere around here. Some kids that would love to come up and pet him if he's not crazy, if he's not jumping up and knocking him down and all that good stuff. And so knowing the lifestyle of Tommy's owner and knowing Tommy's general makeup, which is a very outgoing dog, good. Let's get him into the clique of being socially fun to be around and socially fun to other people. And I think he's going to love it. I know he's going to love it. He just needs a little coaching, a little nudging. And right now we're trying to kind of use nature, if you will, as that life coach for him. Nature being, I'm not really saying anything with this button. So imagine Tommy goes out and he sees a friendly looking skunk, and lo and behold, he finds out in short order that friendly looking skunk doesn't smell so good. And so he starts leaving skunks alone in the general sense, right? So next skunk he sees, maybe he tries it again, maybe it was a fluke, and this time though he knows that skunk smells, just like we learned the stove is hot. And we quit touching hot stoves and they stopped smelling curious looking skunks. And so now we're doing the same thing, except we're using the remote as the skunk or hot stove, and we're using the marking as the thing that he thinks looks good, that he ultimately should just leave alone. And like I said early in the video, there's a big difference between a dog that legitimately needs to urinate versus a dog who feels the need to mark. And what I would recommend everybody do with their own dogs is just like I've done today, make sure that they've fulfilled that need to urinate, and that can be done early in the walk. If your dog, leads off with a urination, just like he did today, then he doesn't have a legitimate need, at least not for a little while, right? He just went. And so we're going to start to coach him right there. I caught him with just the vibration that time, and he stopped, and I figured he would, because if you couldn't tell, he doesn't hardly even have anything left in the tank, but that need to mark is still there. Good boy. That's advanced technique, trainers. Learn to use your line. Good boy. Tommy, sit. Good boy. Now, sit. There you go. Now we're a team. See how he handled that bike? Sit. Very good. Awesome. And using this long line allows for me to allow for him to do the Labrador things that are so fun without me having to fight with him, or without him, feeling too restricted. So a young dog like this, or really any dog that is in their prime even, they just need to, have recess. They need to expel that energy. And that's a big part of the reward system, or the clique, if you will, that I want him to join. There's a lot of freedom when you're well behaved and trustworthy. People take you places. People want to show you off. People want you with them. Good boy. I'm ready to stop the marking here. This is any exit point from cars to grass. Here we go. Don't do it, buddy. I could verbalize, but I don't want to. I want him to think this isn't between us at all. This is really him being coached by the nature. And that way, the owner doesn't have to say the word. I guess what I'm saying is, if I make it nature, then people don't have to remember to say something every time a dog starts to mark. They just stop marking. And if you don't want your dog to mark, it's better to say nothing and let nature do it, just like the pulling. So there I did it for the leash pulling. He is allowed whatever length of leash he's on until that leash starts to come off the ground and starts to get tight. And if he doesn't stop pulling at that point, we need to, teach him not to, because if he was full speed and he wasn't thinking about the end of that line, I assure you, unless you're 300 pounds and a weightlifter, he's going. So we want to make sure we condition him to stay respectful of the length of line that he's on and stay biddable. So he's only halfway through his program, but watch. Tommy, come. Good boy. Sit. Excellent. Okay. No treats, no corrections. That was a great demonstration of his, current state of mind when it comes to the come command, which is a huge one for a Labrador. So we want that same thing every time. How did we get it? Well, it's the whole click that I'm telling you guys about, and there's a lot more to it than I can cover in one session. But this is, starting to show you how we shape a dog from, pure youthful energy to a, socially not only acceptable, but socially lovable, well-trained dog. So good sit. Good, look at you. I didn't even tell him to, but he's learning that sit gets him attention. He sees that seagull. See that bird? See that bird? Good boy. No jumping, no touching. I don't mind if they jump up. We just don't let them jump on, right? So if a dog has so much energy and at the door or something and they're jumping up, but not touching, I kind of let that go when they're young, because they got to do something, right? If you're not touching my guests or not touching me, I kind of let the jumping up go. The jumping on has to stop. And he's done well with that. Good boy, Tommy boy. Good boy, Tommy boy. Yeah, nice sit. This is conditioning, so he's learning, that sitting gets him a lot of cool things. And right now he's probably thinking about that soccer ball. Come on, bud. Come on, Tommy. Good. Ready for the leash pull? No. There we go. That time I just used the long line to teach him right there again, because I kind of got my hand full, can't use my button. Sit. Tommy boy, sit. Good. Nah, sit. Good. And okay to you. Good boy. I know. Kennel. That boy. That's it. Good job, Tommy boy. Back. Get a boy. Good boy. All right.